All right, yo, check this out. So many nice trades in the last few weeks. I've got my second withdrawal pending off this funded account with FTMO. I wanted to show you the nicer trades that I've plugged yesterday. This was just absolutely fire. If you start down with 15 here, clear bullish engulfing off of yesterday's support. Timing was right as the markets were opening. That's exactly what I'm looking for. If you go down smaller onto the 1 minute, you can see I was a little aggressive with my entry and usually I wait a little longer, but as soon as I saw it bounce off support, that was minutes before the markets opened. So I took a couple buys as I would, and that's clean. You can see like a left shoulder head, right shoulder, the breakout, the retest, and then the continuation higher. Um, Clean and simple, man. That's what I look for. And then when you see on the 15 that it closed this big bull engulfing, it's cash, pay me. The day before, when it's trending down, it broke down, made this low, came back up to test this broken support region. You could draw in something like that, super vague. Once it got into it and started to reject on the smaller time frames is what I was looking at as well. As soon as the market's open, price pops up, tests this zone that we had identified, just clears these highs here, which is looking like a good area for a reversal as far as I see it. So market's open here, first 20 minutes, half hour of the market's opening. The way I look at it, prices are going to be most expensive during the busiest hour. So as soon as the market's open, price pops up, two tests, two rejections. Once it breaks down, it gets beneath this support level here. You could take an entry just on the break of the lows, but I waited for not just the breakout, but the retest and then the continuation lower. And that's where you see I took my first sell position. And then another rejection of this zone and then the breakdown lower. Clean sells. Pick up your money. It's fucking great, man. So that was this example. The day before that, last Friday, was kind of choppy. I kind of had it backwards, but it was honestly a good setup still. I was just, every now and then I get all twisted up and wasn't quite doing the right thing. But you can see a bearish engulfing candle on the 15-minute into yesterday's high. So reversal pattern into resistance, similar setup to what I was showing last night, but in the inverse, where there's an engulfing off support. Here's another engulfing off resistance. This day price was pretty clean. It was mostly on the 1 minute chart that was most that was best. Where do we go? So price had a slight downtrend. When price was just consolidating and ranging here, right as the markets opened about there, then you see price pop up, make new highs for the day, finding resistance from all these price levels. So this tiny pop up, and then again, the first 20 minutes or so of the markets being open, the busiest hour, price ends up being most expensive before it falls off. 20 minutes after the open, same kind of setup. That's what I'm looking for. And I was anticipating a little bit more aggressively, but took sells nearly at the break of the lows, but took profit early too, which is fine. But I think I was just hungry, but typically I'd hold a little bit more. But anyways, day before, same kind of thing, pretty much the exact same thing, where you're looking at the just before markets are opening, when price is looking something like this. I'm always looking at what the highs and the lows of the day look like, but when markets opened right here, price pops up, makes new highs in the day, and then starts to reject and starts to come down. Again, the timing of these sells, 20 minutes after the open, same thing what you're seeing here, That's how I'm making money on this. Anyways, that's another good example. The day before that, these lows were pretty, however you want, whatever you want to call this, but multiple rejections to the downside, inverse, head and shoulders, you know what to call it, whatever. And then just buying on the break of highs. I think was this on the 28th. There's probably I think there's a 15-minute engulfing candle as well. This was the same day, where you had an engulfing candle there. Yeah, technically one there off the low, multiple engulfing candles leading, and then the shape of an inverse head and shoulders on the smaller time frame leading to this pop up. Quick little move, in and out, 2-to-1 risk to reward, even 1-to-1, take your money. It's fire. This was okay. This day was like the most buttery setup. This was almost one of the best trades I've ever cleaned, I think. I don't know. It's probably up there. So where are we here? This is the 24th. If you're zooming out, it's this low that I'm talking about that I bought. You could identify, well, actually, yeah, I remember this. It wasn't the cleanest retest of broken resistance, but the day before, price had come up here, and as price was consolidating here, I was totally expecting price to come back down and to retest this level. We didn't quite get there, but close enough as far as I'm concerned. This is on the 15-minute. Yeah, you had an engulfing candle here, which is great, but I think more important to me, at least, I find that the engulfing candles are like confirmation. They're sometimes lagging and they're sometimes late, and you don't have to do this, but what I'm looking at is the shape of this. 3 tests, 3 rejections to the downside, inverse head and shoulders pattern, and a simple breakout buy. Just buying a breakout here. I usually scale in and spread out my stop losses. The earliest ones being beneath the lows, higher, kind of having some tighter stop losses along the way. Doing what you can, keeping my total risk beneath 1% in a day, or whatever my strategy allows. The take profits were great too, as you can see. Took most of it here, but held on and took a lot of it way up top too, which was great. That's just beautiful. That's exactly what I'm looking for. Reversal patterns into support and resistance. Sure, this one wasn't quite into support, but it's a zone, not a strict area. Yeah, that's beautiful. Just the break highs. There's no retest on this example, but the timing of it, that's 15 minutes after 15 minutes after the opening, when price started to break out higher. So I'm all on board with that. Like, the day before was sketchy, honestly. This double bottom, whatever, great example of like a breakout retest where you have 2 lows to the downside, breakout, retest, and then boom, this huge move up. But there was news, and it was a much bigger, I didn't think it would be this volatile. Happened to go in the direction I was trading in, but I don't want to be messing around with news like this because it can gap over your stop losses. It gapped up here, so I'm kind of sketched about this one, honestly, but whatever. Fucking play safe, man. Like, don't fuck around. This was a cool example. This is another one where I was just honestly kind of backwards on, which happens from time to time. Price had been downtrending. This is the example I'm talking about. Price was downtrending, coming into test the lows from yesterday. What do you got? Yeah, the big old engulfing candle. A little bit after the open, like 45 minutes after the opening. But this kind of fake out to the downside where you have yesterday's support, technically current day support, but right in the busiest hour, like a half hour after the market's open, price gets pushed to an extreme, and temporarily there's like the inverse of the previous examples that I just went over, where the fake out is to the low in the half hour after the opening, and then it pops up and continues higher. I was kind of expecting a further move lower first, which didn't come, and then I got into buys and then closed them out while I slept right before it rallied because I'm weak. No, shit happens. This example was hilarious. I was expecting a little move higher before a move down, and then got caught scalping. It's interesting. There's a ton of examples I could go on. And so in the last month, I've had this account funded. There's my second payout on it, which I'm mildly stoked about. It's a 200K account with FTMO. And actually, I'll show you on here. The first 2 weeks of it, I was sweating, and it was honestly a clear, like an honest drawdown, where the mistakes I was making, about half the trades, I could have had a slightly safer or looser stop loss, which would have kept me in the trade, and my overall analysis was correct. Plus, there was a couple days that I should have just stayed out. So common mistakes that I've made that led to this drawdown. But honestly, I just stayed confident and stuck to it. And the 2 weeks following was quite consistent. So this is like straight losses. I had 2 weeks of straight losses, and I was like, oh my God, like what? And this is like, I'm trying not to blow this fucking funded account. And then so I got my shit together. You can see I had a pretty I let a run and cleaned up my 6.5% drawdown I had. And a win like that, I was still only risking 1%, max 1.5. This trade was like, but no, I've been doing max 1%. So yeah, I'm just processing this. It's like an $8,000 withdrawal, second of the month. I'm all right with that, man. Let's keep it coming. Should get a money. That's what I want. Yeah, I hope these setups kind of, you can see kind of what I'm looking for. It's like the timing's got to be right in the half hour before and after, usually, hopefully after the market's open, basing it on the theory or idea that prices in the busiest hour, the first half hour or hour after markets open, its prices are going to be pushed to an extreme. They're going to be most expensive. There's the most demand coming through the market at that time. So prices are going to pop up like they did, test a resistance level, test a support level, often faking out, clearing out liquidity before making a move in the opposite direction. That reversal, you can see it. Confirmations like a 15-minute engulfing, higher time frame support and resistance, and then all the way down to the lower time frame, seeing head and shoulders, double tops, double bottoms, the breakout and retest of the neckline. That's been making me this money, and I'm hoping I can stay consistent and get this paper. Excuse me, I'm gassed. Let's go.